And we're back with some more Arizona Coyotes franchise mode in FHM 10. And in this one, we have the start of year number 4 with your Arizona Coyotes. And we have a revamped roster featuring our new acquisition, Nicholas Christensen out of free agency, who over the past 3 seasons has been a Selke Trophy nominee, winning it once in 2030, and is a consistent 50-point getter as well. So looking forward to big things out of him. Of course, we still have Jagger Firkus, who last season almost had 50 goals. So expecting another big season out of him. We'll see how Clayton Keller does. We'll see if he's able to keep up with the pace that he was at last year, now at 34 years of age. And I've made it known over the past couple of episodes that I'm pretty worried about what is going to happen with him, like how he's going to age relative to his salary and the years left that he has on his deal. He still has 3 years left on his deal at nearly 9.5 million in cap hit at 34 years of age and only a 3.5 star ability. So I just get this feeling that his drop off is going to be pretty nasty. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he is able to, for the most part, replicate what he did last season. I'm not expecting him to hit 91 again, but just if he can stay around 70, 80, then I will take it. We really need to keep an eye on Clayton Keller because we do not want this contract to become untradeable for the last couple of seasons, because that will put us in a very bad spot with the salary cap if we let it get to that point. And then of course you also have the addition of Adam Salminen, one of our top prospects. He's actually now a 2.5 star ability. He grew from development camp and looks to be a pretty solid defenseman to start out. We'll see what he can do in his first year in the NHL. And then you got a bunch of new depth players as well in Luginski, LaCroix, Ruck, who I believe made his first appearance during the playoffs last season. Then you have Berkoyev and Fortescue. So quite a few new players on this roster, but still hopefully the same core identity as we go into year number 4 here. And we'll see what we're able to do in the first month. All right, so we're currently 9-3-1. We are 4th in the division, so pretty stacked Central Division so far this season. But keep in mind, all 3 teams ahead of us, Chicago, Minnesota, and Nashville, has currently at least played 2 more games than us. So let's briefly check out the stats here and see what's going on. In goal, you have a .911 save percentage for Kosa in 5 games, and for Lascelles in 8 games, you have a .907. So not doing as well as he did at the start of last season, but still respectable save percentage. And currently leading the way in scoring is Matvey Michkov with 15 points in 13 games played. Jaeger with 11. Then you have 9 for Bachfest and Keller, 8 for Firkus, Stenberg, and Veyu, 7 for Heat, Cedar, and Zellweger, 6 for Christensen, Levinsky, Kupari, and Fedorov, 5 for Ruck and Sather, 3 for Barrett, 2 for Salminen in 9 games played, and Fortescue in 5 games played, also with 2 points, and then LaCroix with 1 in 4. And the team stats, goals for per game, we are 11th in the league with a 3.69. Goals against per game, we are 6th in the league with a 2.92. Faceoffs, we're 13th in the league with a 50.6. Power play, we are 21st with a 17.9. And penalty kill, we are 7th with an 87.5. So not a bad run considering our record at 9-3-1, but we could definitely be doing a bit better, especially in certain areas. And I would definitely like to see a bit more scoring coming out of our top guys, such as, I mean, I know Keller's 34 years of age at this point and he has 9 points, so that's pretty solid for where he's at in his career. But for how much he's getting paid, I would still like to see a bit more out of him if possible. Michkov's doing great. Jagger Firkus has 8 points in 9 games played, so he's doing all right. 6 goals as well, so it looks like he's on track for a good season here. But all in all, that was a pretty solid month. So let's go ahead, I would say, to probably January, or maybe even the trade deadline, depending on how things go. Ooh, Moritz Cedar out 2 to 3 months with an injury, so he is out until February, it would seem, probably. And that means we're gonna have to get Fortescue in there, and Salminen works his way up to the top 2 with Rhett Sather, so we'll see what he can do in the spotlight there. Oh dear, there's another one. Drew Fortescue with a torn back muscle, 3 to 4 months, so he also goes onto the long-term injury list. Fedorov, what does he have? Bruce Handay today. All right, so we're gonna have to call up Will McLaughlin. That means, Coach, I don't know what these lines are, man, but you gotta fix them before the next game. What are these lines? Look at these lines. He, Stenberg, and Christensen on the first line. That's not a bad first line per se, but it's, you know, it's not our best first line. But then on the second line, you have Kupari, Barrett, Ludvinsky. Then you have Keller, Jaeger, Michkov on the third line, and then LaCroix, Ruck, and Firkus? Jagger Firkus on the fourth line right wing. I don't know what coach is on here, but oh man, Jagger Firkus on the fourth line. That's definitely a choice. All right, we are roughly halfway through the season now. We are 26-11-4. Good enough for first in the Central Division. Not by much, but still, we are nonetheless first at the moment. So let's take an updated look at the stats. In goal, you have William Lassell with a .916 save percentage in 30 games played. So that was a .907 before, I believe. So he has gotten better as the season has gone on. Yes, indeed, a 13.23 goals saved above average. And then Sebastian Kosa with a .911 save percentage in 13 games played, so he has been solid when needed to be. And skater-wise, you have Matvei Michkov continuing to lead the way with 42 points in 41 games played. You have Jaeger with 32, Keller with 31, still at a 3.5-star ability. All right, that's all I care about. As long as he's not dropping down to 3-star or worse, then it's fine. We can continue to roll with Keller, but the minute he starts dropping, I'm going to start to be really nervous about his contract. Then you have Jagger Firkus only with 27 points in 36 games so far, only 14 goals. So that is, he is definitely having a down year compared to last season where he had 49. It looks like so far he's probably on pace for 25 to 30, somewhere in that range. Then you have Bakvist with 26. 25 for Stenberg, 22 for Fedorov, 21 for Kupari, then you have 20 for Christensen, he and Zellweger, 19 for Sather, 18 for Veyu, 17 for Barrett and Salminen. So Salminen having a decent rookie year. Looks like he's on pace for about 40 points maybe if he keeps this pace up. Then you have Ludvinsky with 14 points, then 8 for LaCroix, Cedar, and Ruck, 5 for McLaughlin, 3 for Fortescue, and 2 for Bakoyev. Luckily, Bakoyev has grown to a 2.5-star ability, but we'll see if he can push his growth anymore. And I was going to do the team stats, but I hear lawnmowers outside, so we're just gonna skip straight to the trade deadline, I think. Oh boy, there goes another one. Xavier Veyu, broken thigh, 3 to 4 months, so he is done until the playoffs basically. And our defensive core is looking a little rough at the moment. In fact, we're actually gonna have to sign somebody here as we have no more depth players to call up. Oh, okay, good. Cedar's back. Might have to consider picking up Connor Schmidt off waivers here. Good puck handler, decent all around. Cheap contract, only for 1 year. So yeah, you got that 65 defensive grade as well. And now that we have Schmidt on the roster, I will send Young down. Whoa, 11-0 against San Jose. Shots were 54-24 in favor of your Arizona Coyotes. 3 stars of the game, he, Cedar, and Christensen. As we score 11 on San Jose, who are currently 22, 27, and 5. And I believe that is the most goals we have scored in a game so far in this GM mode. All right, so we are at the trade deadline of year number 4. We are currently 39, 20, and 6. Good enough still for first in the Central, just barely. We are 1 point ahead of Chicago, but we also have 2 games in hand. So let's get a quick look at the team stats. Goals for per game, we are 13th in the league with a 3.49. And goals against per game, we are 3rd in the league with a 2.91. So that stayed pretty consistent throughout the year so far. On the power play, we are 25th in the league with a 17.3. And the penalty kill, we are 2nd in the league with an 85.4. And let's check out the player stats. William Lassell in 50 games played with a .916 save percentage, and Sebastian Kosa in 18 games played with a .913. So William Lassell continues to be a stable, good, and consistent option in goal. Glad we have him. Sebastian Kosa, not a bad backup. And then point-wise, you have Matvei Michkov still leading the way. He has stayed pretty consistent throughout the year with 61 points in 65 games played. 55 points for Jaeger. Keller with 49 and 64. Still in a 3.5-star talent, so that's good to see. 48 points for Jagger Firkus, only 21 goals so far. So it looks like he may not even hit 30 here. The year after almost hitting 50. So that's certainly a bit of a shock coming from him. Kevin He with 38 points. Then you have 37 for Stenberg and Bakvist, 34 for Christensen, 29 for Zellweger, 27 for Fedorov, Barrett, and Sather, 24 for Kupari and Salminen, Cedar with 21, Ludvinsky with 19, Veyu with 18, LaCroix with 16, McLaughlin with 15, Ruck with 12, Schmidt with 6, Bakoyev and Fortescue with 3, and then Young with 2 in 6 games. And now since we're at the trade deadline, let's check out the upcoming free agents that we have for this year. The biggest upcoming free agent we have is Kupari, who, I mean, he's been solid for us, but I'm not sure if I want to re-sign him, especially when you have Jagger Firkus's extension kicking in next year. I'm not anticipating that we're going to be able to re-sign Kupari. I will if I can, but I don't think it's too likely. Then you have Ludvinsky, who, I mean, he's been all right. as far as his point production goes, but not anything special. Really no big names this year, so no one we need to worry about trading at the trade deadline, at least as far as expiring contracts go. However, once again, we do have to consider what's going to be happening with Clayton Keller, and it seems like he's able to keep up with a decent pace right now. And he's still a 3.5 star ability, so that's certainly a good thing. I'm just so worried about what his drop off is going to be like, because I don't want it to get to a point where it's going to become untradeable for the last 2 years of his contract. But at the same time, we're doing well right now. So I'm very anxious about Keller's regression and how hard it's going to hit, you know, and when it's going to hit, right? So I guess we'll keep him for right now past this trade deadline, and then we'll reevaluate once we get to the offseason. So given all that, I think we will just advance to the end of the regular season. Whew, man. Braden Yeager out 2 to 3 months, torn hamstring. So he's out to start the playoffs minimum. Not good. At least it's March 2nd, so we haven't passed the trade deadline yet. I mean, it's still not a bad lineup, but that's a huge blow, losing Braden Yeager. Let me just check the trade block, see who's out there. Yeah, can't really find anything on the trade block that I'd be wanting to trade for right now without breaking up too much of the roster. So I think this might be one of those situations where we just have to accept our losses and just hope for the best going into the playoffs, because I don't see anything that I particularly want. I mean, there is Verhoff from Ottawa, but he's going to cost an arm and a leg to trade for, even though he's on the trade block. He is a good player, though, and he's young, too. He's only 24. All right, I mean, I guess it couldn't hurt to just see what it would take to trade for him. They're in a total rebuild. I can't imagine this is anything less than minimum 2 first-round picks, plus a couple of really good NHL players. Like, this would probably be, yeah, it would take Christensen and 2 firsts. And that's Christensen with half his salary retained. First of all, we just got Christensen. Second of all, he's usually in the top 3 for the Selke Trophy, so I don't want to give that up. Yeah, that's way too much. We can't be trading for Verhoff. That would cost way too much. As good as it looks, I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. Yeah, I think we just have to go here. I think we just have to go through the end of the regular season and just hope for the best. And we have finished the regular season 49, 26, and 7. Good enough for first in the Central Division. Not first in the league this time, but you know what? That's fine with me. That didn't work out for us last time, so all that matters is that we have success in the playoffs. Let's take a look at the team stats here. Goals for per game, we finished 13th in the league with a 3.45, and goals against per game, we finished 3rd in the league with a 2.96. Power play, we finished 33rd in the league with a 15.3. That is rough. That's rough stuff. Penalty kill, thankfully, was much better. First in the league with a 85.9, but that power play, gotta find a way to fix itself during the playoffs, hopefully. There's not much I can do about that, unfortunately, given that I do not control the lines, but hopefully it finds a way to work itself out during the playoffs. Now let's check the player stats. In goal, you have a .914 save percentage for William Lassell in 66 games played, and a goal saved above average of 23.19, so he was very good this season, as always. And Sebastian Cosso in 20 games played with a .909 save percentage. Skaters, you have Matt Van Michkov with 69 points, leads the team in scoring for this season, 35 goals. Clayton Keller with 64 points. Jagger Firkus with 59, only 27 goals this year compared to 49 last year. Braden Yeager with 62 games played with 55 points. Stenberg with 48, 43 for he and Bachvist, 40 for Christensen, 38 for Barrett, 35 for Zellweger, 34 for Sather and Salminen. Fedorov with 32, Ludvinsky with 30, 28 for Cedar, 27 for Kupari, 24 for LaCroix, 20 for Ruck, 19 for McLaughlin, 18 for Vayu, 12 for Schmidt, 7 for Fortescue, 4 for Berkoyev, and 2 for Young. And I think with that being done, let's see who we have in the first round of the playoffs. And it will be the St. Louis Blues, who are 45, 32, and 5 on the regular season. There you go. William Lassell, once again, nominated for the Vezina Trophy. And Nicholas Christensen, once again, 4th year in a row, nominated for the Selke Trophy. Of course, this is his first year with us, but nonetheless, he is very consistent in being a Selke Trophy nominee. So that'll just about do it for this one. And in the next one, we will go through the playoffs of year number 4 with your Arizona Coyotes.